The sun rises over a bustling African city, its golden light reflecting off a structure unlike any other. This isn't just another glass and steel tower, it's alive. Vines cascade down its sides, shimmering solar panels stretch across its roof, and the hum of clean energy fills the air. Welcome to the future of construction, Africa's revolutionary living buildings. Imagine a building that doesn't just exist, but thrives, giving back more than it takes. Across the continent, architects and engineers are turning this vision into reality. These structures generate their own power, purify the air, and even grow food, all while standing tall in the heart of urban centers. Africa is no longer just catching up with the world, it's leading the charge in sustainable innovation. With rapid urbanization and climate challenges, the need for smarter, greener buildings has never been greater. Traditional construction methods drain resources, but living buildings flip the script. They don't just reduce harm, they actively heal the environment. Picture a school in Lagos where the walls breathe, filtering out pollution while solar panels power every classroom. Or a hospital in Nairobi where rooftop gardens provide fresh produce for patients and staff. These aren't futuristic fantasies, they're real, and they're spreading fast. The secret lies in blending cutting-edge technology with nature's wisdom. Solar panels soak up the African sun, turning endless daylight into clean electricity. Vertical gardens climb the facades, cooling the air and reducing the need for energy-heavy AC units. Rainwater cascades through clever filtration systems, turning every storm into a free water supply. Even the wind rushing between buildings is captured by tiny turbines, adding to the energy grid. But the magic isn't just in the tech, it's in the people. Local communities aren't just bystanders, they're co-creators. In Accra, young engineers train in green construction, gaining skills that will define the next decade. In Johannesburg, women-led cooperatives maintain building gardens, selling the harvest to fund community projects. This isn't just about saving the planet, it's about empowering those who call it home. The numbers tell a story just as compelling as the visuals. A single living building can energy costs by 60% compared to traditional designs. Carbon emissions drop by tons each year, cleaning the air for everyone nearby. And because these structures rely on local materials and labor, they're often cheaper to build than imported concrete boxes. But perhaps the most surprising part? These buildings are stunning. Gone are the dull gray blocks of the past. These structures pulse with life. Flowers bloom on balconies, solar arrays gleam like art installations, and green roofs create oases in the sky. They prove that sustainability doesn't mean sacrifice. It means something better. Of course, challenges remain. Not every city has the policies to support these innovations yet. Some developers still cling to outdated methods, fearing change. And financing green projects can be an uphill battle in markets used to short-term thinking. But the momentum is unstoppable. From Cape Town to Cairo, governments are updating building codes to encourage green designs. Investors are waking up to the long-term savings of self-sufficient structures. And communities are demanding spaces that don't just house them, but uplift them. The revolution isn't coming, it's already here. Take the case of a small tech hub in Kigali, where a living building became an accidental tourist attraction. Visitors flock to see the algae-filled windows that generate biofuel while shading the interior. Or the university in Dar es Salaam, where students monitor their building's energy output like a living science experiment. These stories aren't outliers, they're blueprints. Because if a building in Kinshasa can power itself while feeding families, why can't every structure do the same? The answer: soon they will. The technology isn't locked in labs. It's being shared, adapted, and improved in real time. African engineers are tweaking solar designs to work better in local climates. Farmers are advising on which plants thrive best in vertical gardens. And artists are turning functional elements into breathtaking displays of culture. This is innovation that doesn't ignore tradition, it honors it. Ancient techniques of natural cooling meet state-of-the-art energy storage. Communal values shape buildings designed for sharing, not just isolating. And every project teaches the next one how to be bolder. The best part? This is just the beginning. Researchers are testing new materials that repair themselves, like healing concrete filled with bacteria. Smart grids will let living buildings trade energy like neighbors sharing a meal. And AI could soon optimize every watt, drop of water, and breeze to perfection. But you don't need to wait for the future to see the impact. Families in living buildings spend less on utilities, putting food on the table. Kids in green schools score higher on tests thanks to better air and natural light. Entire neighborhoods are seeing property values rise as these structures become landmarks. The message is clear: sustainability pays. And it's not just Africa watching, the world is taking notes. European architects are flying in to study these designs. Asian investors are backing African green construction startups. Even cities in the global north, struggling with aging infrastructure, are asking, how did Africa get here first? The answer is as simple as it is powerful. Necessity breeds brilliance. When you can't rely on shaky power grids, you build your own. When water is scarce, you make every raindrop count. And when your community's future is at stake, you don't settle for less. That's the spirit fueling this movement. It's not about fancy buzzwords, it's about real people solving real problems in ways no one else imagined. And as the sun sets on that same living building we began with, its lights flicker on, powered by the day's own energy. Inside, a group of students huddle around the screen, tracking how much power they've generated. Their laughter echoes through a structure that doesn't just stand there. It works, grows, and gives back. This is the new face of Africa. Not just rising, but leading. Not just building, but breathing. And inviting the world to witness what happens when innovation meets determination. The story doesn't end here. It's being written every day, brick by green brick. In a quiet neighborhood outside Dakar, a group of children chase each other through a courtyard shaded by a canopy of solar panels. Their laughter mixes with the soft whir of turbines spinning in the ocean breeze. This isn't just a playground, it's the beating heart of a living community. Every brick here tells a story of empowerment. Take Aisha, a single mother who used to spend half her income on generator fuel. Now, the apartment she helped build powers itself, and her sewing business runs on sunlight. Or Malik, a teenage dropout turned green technician who maintains the building's wind turbines. His hands, once idle, now fine-tune the future. This is the untold power of living buildings. They don't just change skylines, they rewrite destinies. Across the continent, the ripple effects are multiplying. In Malawi, a women's collective grows medicinal herbs in a hospital's vertical garden. Their harvest heals patients and funds scholarships for girls. In Liberia, a living school's rainwater tanks doubled as emergency water reserves during droughts. Communities that once waited for aid now craft their own solutions. The blueprint is simple: marry innovation with inclusion. When a living market opened in Kampala, vendors got more than stalls, they became shareholders. A percentage of energy sales goes back to their cooperatives, funding microloans. In Nairobi's Kibera neighborhood, a youth group transformed a trash-filled lot into a solar-powered hub. Their YouTube channel teaching DIY solar installs now has subscribers from Brazil to Bangladesh. This isn't charity, it's agency. Governments are taking notice. Rwanda's new urban code mandates green roofs for all commercial buildings. Ghana offers tax breaks for developments that integrate renewable energy. Even oil-rich Angola is piloting living social housing to cut fossil fuel dependence. The economics are undeniable. A study in Cape Town found living buildings raise nearby property values by 15%. Insurance companies offer lower premiums, their risk models love flood-proof basements and fire-resistant green walls. And when blackouts hit, these structures become lifelines, powering neighborhood clinics and charging stations. But the real revolution is cultural. In Lagos, a luxury living towers garden is tended by elders from a demolished slum. Their traditional farming knowledge now feeds penthouse dinners. In Marrakesh, a startup incubator's algae facade was inspired by ancient desert irrigation. The past isn't being erased, it's being upgraded. Challenges? Of course. Some landlords resist, fearing higher upfront costs despite lifetime savings. A few early projects failed when maintenance was outsourced instead of taught. And not every design works everywhere. A wind-reliant building in calm Kinshasa taught hard lessons, but each stumble fuels smarter steps forward. Now, universities from Cairo to Cape Town offer degrees in regenerative architecture. Pan-African design competitions crowdsource solutions for local climates. And a continent-wide database tracks which plants best cool buildings in arid versus humid zones. The next wave is already crashing in. In Accra, a prototype building grows its own insulation, mushroom mycelium that thickens during rainy seasons. Johannesburg's new transit hub uses piezoelectric floors harvesting energy from commuters' footsteps. And in a Tanzanian village, a school's smart thatch roof opens vents when sensors detect stuffy air. The future isn't just high-tech, it's high context. Tech giants are circling, but Africans hold the cards. A Kenyan firm patented a solar paint that works in cloudy highlands. A Senegalese engineer devised bamboo-reinforced concrete 30% stronger than steel. These aren't just local fixes, they're global breakthroughs born from African ingenuity. The diaspora is joining too. Ghana's year of return saw architects leaving Manhattan firms to launch eco-resorts. Nigerian tech returnees are coding AI systems to optimize building energy use. The brain gain is real, and it's building literal foundations. Investors who once ignored Africa now fight for stakes in living projects. A Dubai fund just pledged $200 million for East African green housing. European carbon credits are financing Sahelian schools that double as carbon sinks. The math is simple. Sustainability profits when people come first. What started as buildings is becoming ecosystems. In Ethiopia's Hawassa, a living industrial park treats its wastewater to nourish adjacent farms. Botswana's first energy-positive hotel shares excess power with a neighboring orphanage. This isn't just construction, it's connective tissue. The ultimate goal? Cities that function like forests, where every waste product is another system's fuel, where buildings communicate, balancing energy grids like neurons firing, where children inherit not just shelters, but life-giving infrastructure. The call to action is clear. For travelers, visit, stay in, and support living buildings. Your tourism dollars vote for the future. For professionals, skills in green construction will be the next decade's goldmine. For policymakers, cut red tape for sustainable projects, tax polluting ones. For everyone, demand spaces that don't just house you, but honor your planet. The tools exist, the models work, the people are ready. But the Global South isn't catching up, it's leaping ahead. As night falls over that Dakar community, Aisha flips a switch powered by her own roof. Down the road, Malik's turbine spins shadows under a starry sky. Somewhere, a child draws her dream home, vines, solar panels, a rainwater fountain. The lines blur between building and being. This is how tomorrow rises, not from blueprints, but from lives remade. The revolution is built. Now it breathes.